Ah, there's nothing like the fresh smell of radiation first thing in the morning. Yikes. Actually, that's kind of sort of what President Trump has just said, because he just said that the United States is fully prepared for nuclear war with Russia. Can you guys believe it? Can you, 6 months ago, would you have thought would be here between Putin and Trump in this regard? Guys, this is getting serious. Well, as you well know, a lot of this started in a spat between Medvedev, who's a former president of Russia, and now the second command of the Russian Security Council, second only to Putin, of course. And, it goes further back than that. It really goes back to Trump getting mad, supposedly, at Putin for just ignored him on his proposals for a peace deal. And his response to the 50-day deadline was to bomb the snot out of Ukraine. And that kind of stepped on Trump's ego. Trump got mad. And apparently, I think Melania has been really whispering in Trump's ear to support Ukraine. It sounds like that's been the case. But whatever the case is, my friends, um, Trump is changed tune. Trump has gone into this mode of, where he gave him 50 days for a peace deal, and then he got mad. He shortened it to 10 days. He said, "You got 10 days." Well, that's August the 8th. That's right upon us, guys. That's like, 5 or 6 days, depending on where you are and how you count it. Because he said 10 to 12 days, actually. So we are looking at some serious times ahead of us. We don't know what all this means, but what we do know is the tensions are ratcheting up fast because Medvedev came back and he just, kind of scoffed at Trump and says, you know, he pointed out two things. He says, we have the dead hand switch. And if you don't know what that looks like, you need to watch the movie Zombie, whatever that TV series was, the Zombie Apocalypse, Zombie TV. I don't watch TV, so whatever that series was with the zombies on it. That's what he Walking Dead, maybe was that the name of it? You guys can correct me. But anyway, that's what Medvedev brought it. But it really harkens to a different movie or a different TV series. Now, I go more for the older stuff. It really harkens to Doctor Strangelove, because in the movie Doctor Strangelove, unbeknownst to everybody, when this Slim Pickens was in his bomber as Major Kong on his way to drop a nuke on Russia because he thought that was his orders. It turns out that in that movie they find out that Russia had this doomsday device that would be detonated if there was a nuclear weapon dropped in Russia. And Dr. Strangelove, in the end, he chastised the Russian there. He says, hey, look, the whole purpose of we knew about these devices that could be done, but the whole purpose of it was for deterrence. No, to keep anybody from bombing. Nobody would attack you, supposing if you had one of these devices. So, but it does no good, he said, unless you tell somebody you got them. So why didn't you tell anybody you got them? Well, it turned out that Russia did have one, and they didn't tell us they had it, just like in that movie. And for years after the movie came out, they still ignored that logic. They had one and didn't tell us. They call it the dead hand switch or perimeter. Perimeter is the name of the program. And perimeter is a system that launches every nuclear weapon in Russia. If everything that can be launched. If two things, two conditions. One, there's a detonation in Russia, and the other is if it lose communications with Moscow. And I think it's really down to just losing communications with Moscow, which, a little bit different than how the movie played it out. And it was not a 50-ton, megaton cobalt salted device like a half SAR bomb or a SAR bomb, maybe, which they could do that. Maybe they got that too. We don't know. They might really have that too. But we didn't find out about this until the Cold War originally ended and the Iron Curtain fell, and then the Russians kind of admitted, yeah, we got this system. They call it perimeter or dead hand switch. Well, see, the Russian nuclear launch philosophy is diametrically opposite of ours. With their system, if they lost communications, they launched everything. In our system, if you lose communications, you can't launch squat because we have to have these EAMs. We have to have an EAM giving orders to launch, and we have to have a verified EAM. And none of our submarines and missiles will launch without these codes. It's in their software. They just can't even launch them. And you remember the movie Crimson Tide about when Gene Hackman played the rogue commander of the USS Alabama. Started to say CSS. No in Confederate States, but there's actually is a submarine, a nuclear submarine called the USS Alabama, and Gene Hackman played as the commander of that. And what was his name? Played as the deputy commander, the XO on that. It was shoot, I forget his name right now, but he's still alive. Gene Hackman's not. But anyway, so they had it out because Hackman thought he needed a launch. It turned out he didn't have to, but they got in a brouhaha over it. Well, now you couldn't have that. It wouldn't happen. So the bottom line, though, is that part of the reason we had to have the verified EAM was to prevent that kind of situation from occurring. But what it means is all these people who say, "Oh, well, gee, our submarines will launch if people do this," and no, they won't. Now, if they take out our towers and our doomsday planes, they're not launching. So, under those kind of scenarios, I don't mean we wouldn't launch them, especially in the first strike or something like that. But they don't have the utility that most people think they do. But they're still very, very dangerous weapons. So bear in mind that we have Trump, got aggravated at Medvedev for Senate, and he launched 2 nuclear submarines, supposedly heading somewhere close to Russia, as if that's some kind of news. Really and truly, we always have nuclear submarines on patrol somewhere. So, and usually they would be in striking range of Russia. So the fact that he just made something big of that, is really just wordmanship because he can't be one up by some ex-president. So maybe that's what it boils down to. But really and truly, we are treading on thin ice. And here's where the real thin ice gets in. It's that part of this deadline apparently is that we're going to put secondary tariffs, not on Russia, but on countries that buy oil from Russia, principally India. India's not too happy about this because they get a lot of their oil from Russia, and getting a substitute from that and from the United States in short order is kind of hard to switch real fast. So India's not too happy with that. But the situation is that the whole point is this is what's floating Russia's economy. It's these oil sales. Even though they're selling at reduced price because the price of oil has fell, this is where Russia's economy is. They could hit it hard, a lot harder than how Biden hit it. Biden just threw on some sanctions, held money in the bank, held some Russian money in the bank. No, this would take the gas out of their economy and would really hurt Russia if they pulled it off. Now, Russia would have countermeasures, one of which there's a pipeline that crosses Russia that several American oil companies use across parts of Russian Caspian Sea area. And there was a James Bond movie about a pipeline in that area getting blown up, a couple, 3 decades ago. Pierce Brosnan, or one of the later Bonds, was the guy involved in that movie, if y'all remember. But in any event, so the situation is that we're escalating dramatically, really fast towards something that could be a slippery slope we may not come back from. But when Trump makes this statement, the U.S. is fully prepared for nuclear war, on top of the ones Medvedev has said. Now, Medvedev, everybody, oh, that's Medvedev. He's always saying stuff. Well, he is, but really and truly, he is kind of the flip coin of Putin. Putin likes to be the statesman. He don't want to come out and have to sell, so he lets Medvedev do his dirty work. Nothing comes out in the Russian media unless it's state approved, which means Putin approves it. So anything Medvedev is saying is probably Putin approved, Putin proofed, whatever that means. But anyway, so just things to think about, things to take into account. The chat room seems to be frozen. Let me bring this up on my phone here and see if it looks a little different. No? Anyway, so yeah, and China is massing forces. A lot of people think China's about to make a move. So and then the French are saying they're expecting good chance of action from Russia by 2030. So nuclear war starts anytime between 6 days from now, 5 days from now, and 5 years. 5 years to 5 days, according to some sources. Well, let's hope and pray it don't occur at all. But we're really flirting with this real dangerously. And when you bring into definitely Putin approved. Yeah, you're right, Jeremy. So yeah, Tiffany, we're talking about the situation where basically Trump just came out and said point blank that America is ready for nuclear war. No, he said America's prepared for nuclear war with Russia. Of course, you could say that kind of sort of that's what all our weapons are for. So you could kind of say that's really the preparation. But do you feel prepared for nuclear war? Do you feel prepared for nuclear war? If you do, put a one in the chat room. If you don't, put a two. I don't feel prepared. Hey, I'm bugged out. I'm about as ready as I can be, but there's nothing I want to see. Now, I don't live 26 miles from a nuke plant like I did, and right next to a major army base in Redstone Arsenal like I did back in the day. But, there's still things to be considered, and it's not something I want to see. And nobody in their right mind would want to see it, to be honest. Nobody in their right mind wants to see this kind of stuff. And the whole idea that, like you go back to the movie Doctor Strangelove, it's a deterrent, so nobody will bomb you. Yet we're talking about bombing them, maybe. But really and truly, we are, because you remember that general that came out and talked about taking Kaliningrad? He says, yeah, we got Palantir. Our AI will figure out how to take out all these Russian weapons. We got AI that will help us make the strike in such a way they can't hit us. Are we really that good? A lot of the Russian missiles are mobile launchers. I know we got some satellite assets that might be tracking some of these. Ooh, we are rolling some serious dice. We're playing Russian roulette, nuclear Russian roulette with Russia. That's what it boils down to. And why? It don't make any sense. It don't make any sense at all. I've stood in the streets of Moscow and looked around the place going, why in the world would we want to nuke these people? Decent people there, just like anywhere else. And then I looked at those people and why in the world would they want to nuke us? And most of them wouldn't. People are pretty much the same, pretty much anywhere you go. So it's a really sad state that the leadership of the world gets their populations whipped up into a frenzy like this and then get us all squared off against each other, especially in an age of nuclear weapons. This, just the kind of talk that's been ensuing ever since, Putin went into Ukraine of nuclear war is just something that it was just unspeakable before. You just didn't go there. Nobody talked about this. You didn't threaten these kind of things. It was considered irresponsible. But now both sides are doing it routinely. And then we get this general, like I said, talking about taking Kaliningrad. And there's talks of, well, we could just go on into Russia. We could maybe take out their dead hand switch. What if you don't? What if you fail? What if they got something you don't know about? What if they have a full-scale Serbama cobalt salted? That would be the doom. A 50 megaton cobalt salted bomb is considered to be a doomsday device. It can put out enough radiation to wipe out the world, according to old civil defense manuals I used to read when I was a young lad. Yeah, I used to read stuff like that. So, yeah, remember the movie Beneath the Planet of the Apes, the Doomsday Bomb? Yeah, we know how to build one. And Russia has the technology. It's mainly Russian. They're the only ones that's built the Sarbama. So, there you go. Where are we going? Is that the unspoken part of the dead hand switch? I don't know. They're playing Dr. Strangelove on us. So, Russian nuclear roulette. Yeah, that's right, New. So, guys, if you're not prepping, what the heck are you doing? Lao Wei, enjoy hearing you talk. Hey, good to see you, Lao Wei. Anyway, so guys, I'm gonna go on some articles on this and show you something just to back up what I'm saying. I discovered a YouTube channel with who started after me, got 700 and some odd thousand subscribers. He does a video, he'll get 80, 90,000 watchings on that video. He does exactly what I was told not to do. That guy does nothing but directly, he will play a newscast, not even talk over it, which is, you can, fair use of copyright material is you can play a little bit of a video as long as you talk over and editorialize it, just a little snippets. This guy will play a whole newscast and not say a word. So it's over. And then he'll read articles verbatim, top to bottom. He don't talk for himself. It's just reading articles. And he's getting style. He's killing it. I got a hit just for showing a snippet of a video that I did talk over, which would have been fair use, should have been fair use. I didn't contest it because I'd been seeing people that contested and lost getting real hard strikes against them from YouTube. And some of them get shut, their channels got shut down. And now here's this guy just anyway, I don't know how to do it. I don't know. You know, I do know of another channel that's not monetized that does it regularly and gets away playing music, even all kind of copyright stuff. I'm not going to talk about that one though. I don't know how he does. I think he's in with the CIA. I think that's how that works. But anyway, then maybe this other guy is too. I don't know. There's something fishy here. But I show you articles and I just kind of use them like bullets in a presentation just to prompt the talk, forward. I read the articles. I kind of give you a summary and what's in them, but I don't read them. Sometimes I scroll through them looking for certain data points or what somebody said. If a government official or the government official says is quotable, you can read that verbatim because you can't copyright that. Anyway, that's just the way it is. So let me do this. I am going to do a share screen and we're going to go over to look at some things here. Give me a second. I got to get this set up. Bing, 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 bing. Because, I get people going, where do you come up with that? Where do you get Trump saying that or something like that all the time? So let me go there. I'm going to share the screen. Bada bing, bada bang. There it is. Trump says U.S. fully prepared for nuclear war with Russia. Speaking with journalists outside the White House. Well, guys. So, like I said, there is nothing like the smell of radiation fallout, radioactive fallout, first thing in the morning. Remember, maybe, oh shit, what's the name of that movie? And, Apocalypse Now. Yeah, Apocalypse Now. Are we in Apocalypse Now? Anyway, guys, even Sam, look, all the rich people are prepping. They are prepping like there's no tomorrow, because maybe there is no tomorrow. They're prepping like crazy. You know, uh, uh, Zuckerberg's got a huge major prepping compound in Hawaii. Here's Sam Altman, OpenAI's doomsday prepper, CEO Sam Altman stockpiles guns, gold, potassium iodide, antibiotics, batteries, water, and gas masks. What do these guys know? What do they know that you don't know, that I don't know? Hey, I know I'm prepping as best as I can. I'm in my bug out location. I've bugged out to bug in. My bug out is now my bug in because I moved to my bug out. That's where I'm at, guys. So, yeah, if you want to be like Sam Altman and add gold to your portfolio, I say the best gold is the gold you can hold. And you come here to defythegrid.com. I did not mention this in the last newscast where I mentioned Defy the Grid because they got a discount coupon you can use. And that is Green Gregs. You'll get 1% off. Use discount coupon code Green Gregs. And they got a deal. Find a better price somewhere else, they'll either meet it or beat it. Just call them. Now, ain't nobody else makes that kind of deal for gold you can hold. And they got these goldback notes, this is gold in small amounts. Here's one you can buy for $3.31. Then you have to pay shipping and exceed that, so I'd buy a lot more than just that one to kind of offset spread out the cost of shipping. But guys, this is something you could trade for a barter for you know a pack of eggs, or a loaf of bread. This is fungible gold, not like what you get in a bar, which is, or a coin, which is something you buy a horse with, or a cow, or a motorcycle, car, maybe. Anyway, here it is. Trump is moving, ordering 2 U.S. nuclear submarines to the what he calls appropriate regions. Yeah, these are Ohio class boomers. This is the ones that's got Trident nuclear missiles on them. Yikes. And they're saying the submarines are closing in. Trump warns, I want to be ready as he ramps up tensions on chilling war words with the former Russian president. And of course, like I said, he mentioned that dead hand switch, the dead hand system, perimeter. That is what Medvedev was talking about. There's Medvedev and Putin right there. And according to Steve Rosenberg, oh man, wait, you ain't even heard half of this news yet. Now, these guys are being kind of quiet about this. Maybe we called their bluff. It's possible. It's possible because there's something else coming out, and got to tell you about in a little bit. Anyway, well, Russia is firing off a nuclear missile, a biggest ever cruise missile to try to be a statement of strength. That's maybe the response. But here's the chilling article. Some people are actually calling for us to hit Russia right now. I mean, just come right out and hit them. Hang on, it's the wrong article. An earthquake has undermined Putin's nuclear strategy, and according to this writer, we must seize on it. Really? We what? Go to war with Russia? That's exactly what he's talking about. I just don't want to continue here unless I click on it. But anyway, guys, seriously, what they're talking about. Oh shoot, I hate this. I just want to show a picture here from this article, and it's one and done ad because I reopened it. I just let the previous ad play out, and I come back and reopen. It's playing another ad. Hang on, it'll be over a second because I'm going to show you pictures of what happened in Kamchatka Peninsula. The Russians had a nuclear submarine base, major base. The base apparently got wiped out in this tsunami. There it is, before the tsunami. Hang on, I don't know if I can blow this up. That's it before the tsunami, and that's it after the tsunami. It got wiped out, guys. It literally got wiped out. So one of the major, let's see if I can blow this up. Where's up? No, I don't see an expander screen here. So here it is. After, before, after. This place got wiped out. Major Russian nuclear submarine base totally obliterated. And Russians are being quiet about it. This is what the satellite photographs tell us. We also know that the Ukrainians, with their Operation Spiderweb, took out a third of their nuclear bomber fleet. So the Russians are down somewhat. They don't mean they're out. They still have more nukes than anybody else. Well, they might have lost a few with some of these submarines. If they did, we may have a major radiological incident there, but nobody's saying anything about that really. But now we got this guy wrote this article, and I can't even pull up the whole article because it's being hidden without me scanning or doing something here. Guys, if I subscribe to every news service, it would cost me 10 times more than what pitiful little money I'm making from YouTube. So I can't really do it. But guys, just know this, that there are those that are saying, well, let's hit them now. Let's hit them while they're down. You got that general talking about taking Kaliningrad. He's probably really chomping at the bit right now. Major, General Turdenson, you remember from back in the movie Dr. Strangelove. Anyway, here's the French. It's a matter of nuclear deterrence. They're saying that they got to be ready for a real threat. They expect a real threat from Russia by 2030. That's when France is expecting. If we don't get into them in the next, 5 days, we got 5 years. Which is it, 5 days or 5 years? So, well, we're going to be ready for 2030 apparently because Pentagon schedules first major test for Golden Dome. And 2028, I don't mean they'll keep the schedule, all schedules slide right, but you can see what it is. We are trying to get ready for nuke war. And that's not a good thing. But here's what's happening in Russia. We're talking about embargo, and not embargo. We're talking about putting huge tariffs on everybody that buys oil from Russia to try to shut down their economy, which is based on the sale of oil. Well, the Ukrainians are already attacking that economy. They're blasting refineries and pipelines, airfields, as we see here, but they really hit this gas pipeline. Central Asia gas pipeline span. Russian military shuts down after blast. They may go out to the pipeline where it's, supplying China. We get in the war with China. That may be something we'd want to see. I got to lower this down. There's something odd going on my settings here off my channel. Now, guys, here's an article I've been seeing recirculating for several months. The best states to live in a nuclear war. There's just, it's just one problem with this article that's been circulating around and everybody's been digesting this and yucking it up. It's garbage. It's stupid. Let me just put that way. This article is plain dumb stupid. Now, a couple of the places it show ain't too bad, like Maine. But see, the more purple it is, the better it is. Like Wyoming is one of the best states. And in the next second tier is these states right here. This is all great and wonderful in a nuclear war. In a hypothetical nuclear attack in the United States, some states are regarded safer than others, and the safer ones are over here. I got one little problem with that. This is going to be the main target area in a nuclear war. This is where we have our B-52s, and this is where we have all our intercontinental ballistic missiles, right in this area, right in here, where I'm circling. This area is going to be a nuclear wasteland with radiation fallout spreading east of there for a long distance. This is the worst place to be. And they're painting it as one of the best places. And they're publishing this. It's getting published and republished and republished and circulated and recirculated. And people are buying it. Hey, go tell their editors are a bunch of idiots. Tell them to listen to Green Greg's. You got some stupid guy here, John O'Sullivan, audience editor, thinks he knows what he's talking about here. He don't have a dang clue. He's an idiot. And you can quote me directly on this, Mr. John O'Sullivan. You say the safest places, the main target areas. So he's not even taking target areas into account at all. He's just looking at resources. Well, resources are fine and dandy, but if you are radioactive, if everything is sizzling hot, it ain't no good. If you buy what this guy is saying, put a 3 in the chat room. If you think this is goofy, put a 4 in the chat room. I say this is one of the stupidest articles I've ever seen, and it gets circulated, and a lot of preppers are probably yucking this up. There it is. There it is. Now we know where to go. Yeah, if you want to get your rooster cooked, just move right here. One of the best states, according to this guy. This is why you listen to Green Greg's. I'm a rocket scientist. I know a little bit about radiation. Not only that, I've done a couple of videos on how to survive nuclear war. Went in great detail. Explained everything under the sun about radiation, what it is, how it works, what's deadly, how to protect yourself, like nobody else. 2 videos. Come at it purely from a science standpoint initially, which I'm really good at, and also from a standpoint of prepping, which I'm good at too. So there you go. You need to go back and watch those videos on my channel, not listen to knuckleheads like that. Anyway, now here's another scary thing. HIV rates up among Russian soldiers surging 2,000%. Guys, what are these Ruskies doing in the foxholes? Eee. Now, you Rusky girls, I don't think you want these guys coming back from the foxholes. But you American guys always been searching for Russian wives. You don't want some Russian wife that's been one of them guys in the foxhole either. Yikes. Well, apparently HIV is going down in all the world except for Russia. And it was going up even before the war, so I don't know what's going on over there. Maybe drugs, most likely. Yeah, they got some little drug problems. Jeez, guys, that's nasty. Uh, Yikes. Well, Russia's got demographic problems, and that ain't going to help. I mean, who's going to want to make babies after this? Yeeks. Anyway, Gordon, oh, there was another article. What happened to it? Oh, we missed one. Somewhere I got an article. It just disappeared on me. Anyway, yeah, I had an article about China amassing major forces for an invasion. But anyway, it's Gordon Chang here. His article talking about Xi Jinping signaling China is preparing for a major attack. But his article takes a little different tack than what we normally see in articles talking about weapon systems. He's talking about how they're preparing their food, their agriculture. That's a basic necessity to sustain the country in war. And what they're doing is they're pulling up cash crops that aren't a value for food, but are a value for money. They're digging them up, throwing them away in China, bamboo and all kind of other things that the Chinese like to grow for cash crops. No, they're going full tilt to food so they can be prepared. That's what you need to do. Be prepared, not scared. Anyway, China is also plotting to blow up Starlink. Yo, Elon, ain't Xi Jinping your buddy? You better rethink him being your buddy. And he's got all these car factories over there and battery factories, and Elon been really close to Xi Jinping, but his main deal is SpaceX, and he wants these Starlinks to pay for his Martian trip, and he gonna get it if Xi Jinping blows them up. So, and this whole thread of this is fueling war fears of warfares. My friends, what bugs me about this is how I'm talking to y'all is through a Starlink satellite link. So let's hope this don't happen. Let's hope it don't come to this. Maybe they're getting friendly with each other, says Rodney. Yeah, sounds like it. Them old Ruskies, Rusty Ruskies, and uh, and uh, and them holes, foxholes. I don't know. Yeah, yee. Anyway, let's see. China warns U.S. allies in deep sea dispute. Now, and they're talking about Beijing has pushed back on the Philippines defense chief, who accused China of aggression. Look, you know what? China has been taking over the South China Sea. The World Court ruled against China. It's a violation of the law of the sea treaty that China signed, the stuff they're doing. And yet they get mad at everybody else for trying to defend themselves. What audacity! What a bully! You gotta stand there and let us sock you. You gotta stand there and then take a beating from us. If you don't, we're gonna be mad at you. Oh my gosh! China's military warns U.S. containerized launchers pose threats to regional security. Guys, I talked about Chinese containerized launchers on here. What, 5 years ago? I showed you videos of their containerized launchers some time back. China's had these for some time. And now they want to chafe on somebody else. Come on, China. Of course, China is the one that got mad at the Czech president for visiting the Dalai Lama, claiming, oh, that's against the one China policy. Well, since when is Taiwan originally Chinese? It wasn't. The Taiwanese, not Taiwan, Tibet. Tibet was a separate country. Tibet is a different people. The Tibetans did not want to be part of China. But Tibetans are a peaceful people and got invaded. Just kind of like Xinjiang, where the Uyghurs are from. Yikes. Of course, China thinks they should have the right to conquer everybody. Anyway, so this is an article. Hang on, let's go back here. Did I miss something? No, I think I closed a few articles by accident. J.D. Vance is right. Europe is standing on the edge of civilization suicide. And uncomfortable truth is Britain's not far behind, according to this article. Why? Because 770,000 people were added in Great Britain, just England and Wales alone, in a single year. These are people that aren't friendly to the native culture of the region. They want Sharia law. Go figure what I'm talking about here. And if you remember a couple podcasts back, I was talking about how King Charles didn't want Trump to work because he was afraid Trump might say something negative about immigration. You know, why are we defending Europe against Russia, which probably couldn't really invade? And Russia don't have the people to hold Europe. They're not going to be taking Europe. Europe's already invaded and is already set to fall. So why are we wasting our efforts on them? Europeans, you need to wake up and take care of business at home. Why do you expect us to come over and bail you out from Russia when you're not even taking care of the back door, the backyard? You're going to cease to exist as a people. All you Europeans in your native lands, you won't be there anymore. That's what's coming. But yet, y'all worried about Russia. Well, I think it's a diversion. That's what I really think. It's diversion against the real threat. And the real threat really comes from your own government's policies. Anyway, yeah, J.D. Vance spanked him in a speech over this, and they deserved it. So at least some people are waking up to it, and more need to. Crazy. Crazy, 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 crazy. China's blossoming its presence in the South China Sea with 3,200 hectare network of military bases. Yeah, and yet they champ about the Philippines wanting to even have access. Okay, I just went in and out here. Let's I'm gonna stop sharing and go back and share again. It hangs up. I discovered that's what to do. Hello. I'll see if I can advance this thing. There we go. I ain't gonna stay on that article. Yikes. Oh, living skeleton, lost prisoner forced to dig on grave. Oh, Lord. All righty. Now, this sounds like something out of a, what? This sounds like something that Austin Powers would say. You know, New York, you got a hot blob coming. There's a hot blob coming for you. I don't know. I had it down pat earlier. I forgot exactly the way I had it. I had it I was in the spirit of Austin Powers, just earlier today when I saw this. Oh yeah, there's a big hot blob coming for you, New York. No, I'm not kidding now, but anyway, I tried to be funny here, but it really is something to keep an eye on. It doesn't mean anything's going to happen tomorrow morning, but the whole world seems to be waking up volcanically and earthquakes, and I kind of mentioned this the other day in a podcast. It's just a different article, a different take on it, because it says it's heading for New York City. You got a hot blob coming for you. You got a hot blob coming at you. How did I say it? I don't know. I don't sound like Austin Powers now, but I did earlier. I lost it. Trying to be funny and I'm kind of falling flat. Oh well, give me credit for trying, right? So let's see here. Well, China, not to be outdone, they're showing a new nuclear submarine they're launching here. And now we're saying to be able to thwart a blockade on Taiwan, we'd have to establish an airlift. You remember we did the Berlin airlift. This will be way bigger than Berlin airlift. We're talking about 860 flights of big wide body jets a day just to keep Taiwan from economic collapse. There's so much stuff they consume over there. Yeah, 860 flights a day. Ooh, that'd be hard to pull off. Hard to see that. Anyway. Well, now we just had a panic over here because PayPal and Venmo went out. What you gonna do when the whole grid goes down? Are y'all prepared for the grid to go down? You need to. You need to be really ready for that. What is this? Oh, Toni Braxton sparks uproar. She said the Bible was written by a racist white man. Uh, excuse me, I don't think the priests and prophets of Israel qualified as white people back in the day. But see, there's this new think that anything that's white is racist. Yeah, remember that girl who was in the jeans commercial? They considered it racist because she was wearing blue jeans. I mean, it's out of hand. That's my whole point here. The whole narrative is trying to divide our country, and it's totally out of hand. It's goofy. It's stupid. Just plain stupid. And what the Bible wasn't even written by Caucasian Europeans. It was written by Middle Easterners. That's who the Hebrew people were back in the day. Middle Eastern, Semitic. You know, go find who the Semitic people in the world are. So, what a bunch of craziness. What a bunch of craziness. And in case you didn't know, your Chat GPT private conversations can be public. Now, a lot of these articles are sounding the bells on this. They're going, oh no, everything you tell Chat GPT in confidence couldn't go public. Well, it might. But my understanding is it depends on if you've got the share button clicked. You need to go back and see if you got settings to share your content. If you do, it turns it into a URL, which can be accessed by any web browser. So, let's see, what's this message that's being hidden? Oh, somebody else handling. But anyway, yeah, there's some stupid stuff, guys. Really, there really is. So, but bottom line is, watch what you don't consider Chat GPT a place to confess your crimes, your sins, or tell anything you don't want to go out. I mean, even with or without a one of those. Oh shoot, I lost an article. There's another article I thought was right behind that. Sometimes I close tabs accidentally. No, yeah, it's gone. There was another article I want to tell you guys about, and I thought I had it on here, but it's not here. Basically, if the court subpoenas the content of ChatGPT, OpenAI has to share it. So your stuff can be discovered in court. So don't say anything there that you really don't want to come out. Okay? That's the bottom line. Even if you do have the setting for not sharing. Yeah, just be careful, guys. Just be careful. Oh, yeah. Well, that article tells you how to stop it, but that ain't the one I thought I had opened there. Huh. There we go. Yeah, it can be used in court. There it is. Chat GPT laws can be used against you. And people have legit worries. Oh, yeah, people have been telling Chat GPT everything. Guys, it's time to consider prepping, and it's time to get some more seeds. We're at the end of the summer, not when you typically think of buying seeds, but if we go into a nuke war, you ain't getting no more. You better get what you can while you can and be ready. That's all I got to say. Now, look at here. This Kamchatka Peninsula's just been rocking here. Look at this. It has been rocking. So the Russians are having a hard time recovering over there. And it looks like that submarine base is out. The fact their submarine base is out, their bomber fleet's down, and our generals got Palantir AI. Some of them think we can go in and attack Russia. So there's the most recent one. This one right here earlier was the most recent one. That's a 6.8. And this one is a 4.5. Yeah, they're just rocking over there. It's going nuts. Lots of aftershocks. Well, it was a huge earthquake. And oh, that's not all that's quaking. Look at this, my friends. Astoria, Kansas. Apparently, there was one right over here on the New Madrid Fault just a day ago. I think I got an article. No, I don't have an article on that. I thought I had an article opened on that. So there you go. New Madrid fault has been active too of late. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. I gotta move this where I can do something with my tabs. Well, we're about done for the day. How long have we been on board here? Sun, giant magnetic spider. Make that two. Two sunspots. One's got the equivalent of north, one equivalent of the south. And that's right over here. That's these two sunspots right there. Pretty good sized sunspots. Now, there was another YouTube channel claimed, oh, a couple of days ago, there was this giant sunspot on the verge of coming around the rim of the sun here. Talked about it. The problem was they were, I don't know, they had linked into an older article like from months ago. So, you got to double check some of the stuff you hear on YouTube, guys. I try to bring you the truth. Some guys, they see something, they run with it without checking it. Yeah, yeah. Well, we had one come in. We've had a couple come in close to the orbits of the geosynchronous satellites, but that's in the past. They missed us. No asteroids that are coming in, the next month or so, the 29th of September, that we know of. It's going to come inside the orbit of the moon. Problem is, we always find these after the fact. Fortunately, they're usually on the smaller side, 9 meters, 5 meters. That one was booking though at 16.6 meters. That could have caused some little bit of concern, but probably not really. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna stop the share. Go through the chat room. Hello. Yikes. Let's go through the chat. I'll pull up the screen on the computer. See what we missed. I had my phone screen open in case we got a super chat or something, but hadn't seen none of them in a while. So, Callie Prepper, Val, Marina, Dawn, Stan, good to see Stan in the house. Stan Grenfell, he's really helped us out with the uh, Freedom Restoration Foundation. We got to get that cranked up again as soon as I get my feet planted here. I'm taking a class right now in addition to working and trying to get my homestead going. I ain't had time to do nothing. Denzel Washington was the other guy. Thank you, Rodney. That's what I meant to say. Appreciate it. I knew somebody would pipe in with that. Denzel Washington. He's a good actor. Denzel Washington. So now some people are saying Gene Hackman was one of the best actors ever was. He always had tough roles. A lot of times he had to play the bad guy or play a a-hole. But he did it well, whatever the case was. But they say he was a really nice man. A really nice man. So he was out of character when he played that a-hole role, but he could play it. He could play it real well. So Cuban Nurse Prepper, this is so bad, and wherever you said something about to anyone, all they said nothing was going to happen. Well, let's hope nothing happens. But problem is it's escalating. That's the problem. We're still escalating. 100 coyotes, man, destroyed themselves many times. Yeah, looks like we're on the path again. We just can't learn nothing. We're supposed to be civilized. We're supposed to be so smart these days. But people are the same today they were back in the days of the Old Testament. Personality, I mean, you read the stuff that people wrote in, they thought the same way. They felt the same way. And it don't matter, you know, and they were actually a different people, different culture. And, it's just, people are the same down under. Once you get past the skin, there's a lot of sameness. Now, there are a lot of cultural differences, and there are some cultures that are living in a culture, poverty of consciousness, which hopefully people wake up from. Jason Smith says, sure, Sarmat ICBM, various hypersonic missiles, new generation of SLBM, short-range ballistic missiles, what that means, guys, and YARS missiles, as well as non-nuclear or nuclear IRBMs like the Originic. Yeah. So, here we are with all this stuff, and suddenly we think that we got to, get out of jail free card to go bomb the snot out of Russia. Oh, and the other, hey, Cha Cha. Well, you got a new ID for Cha Cha. You're not just Cha Cha anymore, you're for Cha Cha. Okay. Cha cha cha. So farm dogs, that's a good one. China's very similar to the United States. Well, people are people, but the government there is what's causing us all the consternation. So Tiffany, not my gov. I hate gov. There you go. I ain't got no love for any government, to be honest. Them people are devil worshippers. Which ones, Jeremy? I think there's some out here. Oh, you're gone, Tiffany? Well, thank you for dropping in. Juanita, how you doing, Juanita? Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just scrolling through fast. We're going to end early tonight. Eight is absolutely, totally agree, sir. Greg, we had a 3-point earthquake here in Jersey earlier today. Wow, Jeremy. Ah, anyway, yeah, we're going to call it a night here. How long we been on? 50 minutes. That's a little long. I'd like to cut them definitely stand an hour. Something's on top of my head. Ain't nothing up there. What was that? Got weird. Anyway, hi, buddy. You look good. Well, thank you, Juanita. Appreciate that. All righty, folks. So here's what to know. We are in a world hurt right now in terms of tensions in the world. They're off the charts. Wars and rumors of wars, and just all kind of natural events which are practically cocked to happen. Well, thank you for cha-cha. Thank you for the heart. So, guys, start if you're not prepping, get started. Seriously. Even if you're just going down to the box store and buying a bag of dry beans and dry rice. Now, see if you can get one of those Mylar bags to put it in and a food saver to suck the air out and seal it off. And stick it in a 5-gallon bucket. It'll last for years. If you throw some moisture absorbers down there, they'll last for years. I think prepwithgregs.com is still active. I need to check that out. But you can order seeds. I'll put links in. You can order seeds from. That's the most important thing. Get your seeds. Gold you can hold if you want to prep like Sam Altman. So yeah, that's real popular. Can you give me your new postal details via Facebook? Oh yeah, okay. We'll do that. We'll do that. Now, if you want to send, I better give you a different detail. I'm going to do it tonight. Just remind me next time you see me on Facebook. Because I got a meeting early in the morning. I ain't going to get much sleep. I got to hit the hay. I am taking a class and it starts early for me. So, anyway, global conflict. This is a challenge, and we must realign our abilities and thinking in the way we do things. Victory is the only option. There you go. Beans and bullets. Yep. I will need to get my seeds. Well, yeah, I would say get them now, just in case. Because the grid goes down or something crazy happens, the availability of stuff is going to be out the door. It's like, I like to throw this musical chair analogy out. It's like musical chairs. You walk around the chairs as long as the music's playing, but when the music stops and you got to sit down, that's all you got. Whatever you got at that point, it's all you got. They ain't no one getting any more. So get your preps ready. Get them ready now. And learn skills. Hey, Nicole Parrish. We haven't seen you in a while. Nicole comes, yeah, it comes from an area that I used to visit a lot down in South Georgia. So I think we can use some of the same people down that area. Although she's in California now. And has had some tough times lately. So say some prayers for Nicole, guys. Um, anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank you mods for keeping the channel clean. And I just want everybody to get ready. Prep and pray and hope we have a better day. But if you're not prepping, I don't know. It's, you can watch these channels till the cows go home, but that ain't gonna get you prepared. Seriously, prep. Been busy. I'm in Shasta County, California now, but you're right. Georgia Peach. Yep, she's a Georgia Peach. So good to see you. Hey, I'm not that far from you now, Nicole. I'm in Arizona. I'm in northeast Arizona, not far from I-40. You ought to drop by and check out my homestead. Anyway, listen again. Thank you everyone for watching, and thank you, mods. Gen X, liquid O2 on the plane, full of AV. Yeah. So the urban attorney, been warning Greg, I live a few miles from Alvin Kellner Air Force Base. You, guess you're a gone pecan. Yeah, you might be. Although that map said Louisiana's one of the best places, but you got some bases down there that will be targeted. So it's like, those guys had no sense. Whoever drew that map up that I showed earlier just had absolutely no sense. That was stupid. Anyway, my friends, again, thank you for watching. You want to know how to survive, where to go back and watch my old videos. I got plenty of them. I got some, go to the playlist and look for them that way. It's the best way to find them. Probably the playlist. And you can always, once you get into the videos, things where you got that little hourglass, not at the top, but at the bottom, you can search on topics within a channel. If you got a computer, I don't know how to do that from my phone, but you can do it from a computer. Might be able to do it from a tablet, but you can't do it from my phone. Anyway, guys, I want to thank y'all for watching again. I'm gone. I got to get out of here. Oh, where's my screen to end the video? There it is. Anyway, so again, to one and all, a good night, good day, wherever you are. Ho.